Hi, Kate. Can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role?
Hello, yes, great to meet you, Ewan. I'm Kate Green. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Greater Manchester, responsible for police, crime, criminal justice and the Fire and Rescue Service. And it's a really interesting job, as you can imagine, working obviously with Greater Manchester Police, Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue, working with the Mayor, Andy Burnham, working with lots of community organisations, schools, colleges, the health service, older people, younger people. I get to see some really great projects going on in Greater Manchester to try to make our communities safer and more welcoming for everyone.
Hello, Kate. How do you plan to engage the local community in your work?
Hi, Rainbow. It's a really important question, actually, making sure that we give everybody who lives or works or visits Greater Manchester the chance to have their say in how we keep everyone safe and how we make sure everyone is treated with respect and dignity.
How are you improving the diversity in recruitment for the police force?
We have a long way to go on this. We've run recruitment campaigns and reached out to the communities that are underrepresented in Greater Manchester Police. But if you look at the figures, we still don't have a police force that's properly representative of our very, very diverse city region. And it's very important that the police should reflect all of the communities that they serve, because that builds trust and confidence in the police, and it means the police have a proper understanding of the different experiences of different communities. Part of what we can do to encourage and support people to think about joining Greater Manchester Police is to show that we won't tolerate any discriminatory or abusive or offensive behaviour. That's why things like the vetting that we've been talking about, like the misconduct proceedings that we will carry out if allegations are made, are really, really important. We have an ethics committee overseeing Greater Manchester Police. It's looking at how we police every community in Greater Manchester fairly.
Do you think Greater Manchester is a good place to grow up in?
Well, I hope so. I think it's a great place to live, and I want it to be a great place for all of our young people to grow up in. But for some young people, it is hard, isn't it? Things can be going on at home or at school or college that can put young people under a lot of pressure. Some young people perhaps don't feel safe, and everybody should feel safe, or they may feel they're not being treated with respect and dignity. So those are the things we've got to address to make sure that every young person can really say this is a great place to grow up, and then build up to achieve all their dreams and aspirations, whether that's through education, through work, in their families and their homes. So I think there's huge potential in Greater Manchester for young people, but we've got to make sure every young person can benefit from it.
How are you making sure that police officers are vetted appropriately before joining the force, and social media checks are done regularly on them whilst being in the force?
So what's been happening in the last few months is that every single member of the Greater Manchester Police workforce has been rechecked against the Police National Database. And now we've got a list of names, a big list of names, which have thrown up some information. Every single bit of information that the Police National Computer has identified is now being checked, because they won't all have criminal records or be about unsuitable behaviour. It could be you've been a victim of crime and you'll appear on that list of names also. So we have to check every single one of those names, and then if we're dissatisfied that that person should never have been allowed to have become a police officer, we will take appropriate action. We're also tightening up the vetting procedures for new officers joining the police. So there's a whole set of new guidance that's come from His Majesty's Inspector of Constabulary about the checks that should be undertaken when people join, and also the frequency of rechecking, including, as you rightly say, Rainbow, checking what they're doing on social media.
What is being done in the VCRU in Greater Manchester to educate young people about violent crimes?
We have a very busy violence reduction unit in my team, and we've got lots and lots of programmes that we're running. So we do quite a lot of work in schools. That could be using drama and theatre performances. It could be bringing in people who've experienced violence or sometimes have been perpetrators of violence to come and talk to the students about what happened in their lives and what consequences followed from certain choices that they made. So, for example, We have a guy called Matthew Norford, comes out and talks to young people. Matthew's history is that he was in prison for violent offences. His brother was killed in a violent attack, and that was a turning point for him. And he talks about how he made the wrong choices, he ended up in prison. Then he realised he needed to change his life and what he's been able to achieve by making different choices. So we bring in the people that have had that lived experience really to talk to younger people and explain why it really is important not to get involved in violence and violent crime.
What sweet would you be and why?
What sweet would I be? I'd be a Licorice sort.
Why?
Because they're stripy, multicoloured, rainbow, and there you go, rainbow, one for you. And I don't like them, so I'm not tempted to eat too many of them.